Hi, everybody. My name is Harold Twente, and I'm the Power Platform Strategy Lead for Western Europe. I'm so happy that I can talk to you today. I've been really looking forward to this because we see this huge momentum with business applications and specifically with Power Platform that I'm eager to share what it's all about. And in order to start my presentation, I'm actually going to go one step above the Power Platform and talk about our business application strategy and how that fits within the Power Platform and how Power Platform fits within the bigger Microsoft scope. When I begin my pitch with customers, with partners on business applications and Power Platform, I always start with those blinking dots you see on the screen. It's all about data. Data is there in any form and it can come from anywhere you might think. It can come from smart buildings, it can come from smart cars, from smartphones, but also from your daily interactions with your customers. And that data is meant, in our mindset, is meant to be dealt with on a number of pillars that we talk about. It's how we engage with our customers or citizens in a public sector environment. It's how we empower our employees with the right data at the right time. It's how we optimize our operations, and even how can data help us transform the offerings that we have? How can we change our products? And this is what we call in Microsoft the digital feedback loop. It's how data and AI at the very core of everything that we do can fuel everything we want to achieve. And I'll give a few examples. When you have data coming into your organization, whether it's on paper or whether it's through a digital mean, how can that change your organization? For example, as employees, you work together, right? You have 20 people, 100 people, 2,000 people, 20,000 people working together. If everybody can work together on the same data set, on the same information, collaboration is a lot easier. Because if the data doesn't match, if everybody's working on different data, then actually collaboration is quite hard and you might get into trouble. When you look at IoT, so the Internet of Things, and I'll take the example of Tesla. Tesla has so much data within their cars that it actually completely changed how it built a car and what it offers to a customer. Through that data, they know that your battery is about to die. They know that you're stuck in traffic and they will propose a different way. They know that you need to fuel up your battery, so they will direct you to the nearest, well, I would call it fueling station, but kind of battery charging station. And all of that data is actually at the core of everything that we do. And when you look at Microsoft Dynamics 365 and Power Platform, so our business application suite, that's exactly what we do. How can we connect all of our businesses on that one common data layer to actually optimize our operations, change the way that we productize our offerings, improve how we collaborate in order to engage better with our customers? And when you look at our portfolio within Microsoft Dynamics 365, you see that it has changed dramatically over the last couple of years. Where 5 to 10 years ago, we were only talking about ERP on one side and CRM on the other side. We've completely changed the way that we actually build our solutions for our customers. Instead of having two solutions that are both quite heavy, we've now changed our approach so that we've got an entire suite of solutions that can be beneficial to our customers. What is the benefit? It's that we can now serve a customer on the need that they have. And I'll talk about, for example, marketing. We allow them to kind of grow on top of that by adding additional applications in a very agile, flexible, and fast way, because you can, of course, imagine that sales and marketing can connect. But also, we have solutions fit for the size of the organization, looking at Business Central, Sales Pro for our mid-market and low-market customers, even though that we use Business Central also with larger accounts based on how they're set up structurally. And whenever we have an issue that we cannot solve with the products out of the box, that's where the Power Platform comes in, and that's where we can help a customer with almost any solution they need based on the process or the automation they want to optimize. And this is the core for everything that we do within our business applications, is that data first, agile way of serving to our customers. And when you look at this in a somewhat larger context within Microsoft, we really are getting to that one Microsoft approach, where we use Microsoft Azure as a foundational layer of data. We've got machine learning in here, we've got IoT in here, we've got AI, we've got Kubernetes and so on. All of that is on that data layer. On the business application side, we've got Microsoft Dynamics 365 with all of the solution I've shown. And on the collaboration side, we've got all of that Microsoft 365 suite that a lot of you are already familiar with Teams, with Office, and so on. With all of that, Power Platform actually sits in the middle and connects the dots even more. Power Platform uses the security from Active Directory, it uses the security group from Office 365, and it can use actually the automations and the business models that we have in Dynamics 365. And this is our model towards a more one Microsoft approach, where Microsoft offers that infrastructure, but actually we work with our partners to actually build on top of these solutions to actually deliver the real value to our customer. That's why you might have heard Microsoft is launching industry clouds. We've got retail clouds, we've got public sector clouds, we've got healthcare clouds coming, which means that within these solutions, we're actually going to be able to offer an industry-specific approach where partners then build their solutions on top. And when you look at this compared to our competitors, and again, I'm not attacking our competitors because they have some good solutions, we have to be honest. But what makes Microsoft so different is that we actually do all of that on one platform. We've got Office, we've got Teams, we've got Dynamics, we've got Power Platform, we've got Azure within one platform, one cloud, with one identity, security, and management compliance layer surrounding this. And when you look at our competitors, even though they've got individually good solutions, they do not have the ability to work as one at this moment. Looking at Salesforce, they've got a good solution. They bought Slack. They have a low-code application platform they bought, all of which actually uses a different data set, uses a different security setup, and they don't match out of the box natively with each other. And this is why Microsoft, at the moment, is the only vendor in the world that can offer one cloud for one customer. And this is what I really like about this. So let me go to the next step of this conversation. When you understand what we try to do from a data-first approach, enabling our customers and so on, we see that there's a big struggle within our customers. And that struggle we like to call the app and automation gap challenge. And what do I mean? It's the amount of applications, the amount of automations that an organization might need today on one side of the equation, but on the other side, you have the amount of applications that are available, the amount of people that can build applications, and the time in which these applications can be built. And if you look at that equation, it doesn't add up. So we see the demand for applications exceedingly growing faster than what we can offer through IT, or there are standard ways of developing applications. So this is where the low-code application technology comes in to help bridge this gap, both on application as well as on automation. And when you think of this, when you think of your customers and you think of how they solve their issues, at the moment, what we see through research is that a lot of these issues that customers have, they are being addressed by off-the-shelf solutions. And of course, there are more SaaS solutions right now than they were before. But this means solutions that are ready. You can buy them, you can implement them, and they're ready. Best examples within Microsoft, Business Central, Sales Pro, Marketing, Field Service within our Dynamics 365 environment. Why do these exist? Because these processes and solutions, they are the same whether you're in India or whether you're in Canada or whether in the UK, Belgium, Netherlands, Austria. It doesn't matter. Sales is sales, marketing is marketing, and the processes are mainly the same. Off-the-shelf solutions, we see customers building custom development. solutions. And the benefit of custom dev solutions is that they will fit for 100% because they're tailor-made for the customer. The issue, however, with custom development is that it usually takes a lot longer to build because everything needs to be built from scratch. And it's a lot harder to kind of migrate or upgrade. And I'll give an example. 5 years ago, or even 10 years ago, applications that were developed, they were not ready to deal with artificial intelligence. They were not ready to deal with cloud. They are not ready to deal with mixed reality. And those are like technologies that change overnight. And with custom development solutions, that's pretty difficult. With off-the-shelf solutions, it's a bit easier because there's an entire organization behind those off-the-shelf solutions that will help that upgradability and that migration towards new technologies. How we see the Power Platform is actually all the rest. Every little white block on this slide is an opportunity for you to actually engage with your customers with the Power Platform. And to be very honest, I don't want to fill one of these white blocks. I want every one of these white blocks to be filled. And that's also our strategy. That's why we call it a Power Platform. It's a platform that enables you as a partner. It's a platform that enables the customer to actually build the solutions, the automations that they need within their organization to become a digital ready organization. Again, opportunity is not about one app. The opportunity is about the platform. And whether you're an organization of 100 people or 5,000 people, every organization has a lot of these white blocks. Some of these white blocks are quite simple. Some of these are quite complex, but I'll get to that in the future. So let me dig a little bit deeper on the Power Platform. So the Power Platform, even though solution-wise we talk about Power Apps, Power Automate, and so on, it actually all revolves around data. And data, we can do a lot with data. We can analyze data. We can act upon data. We can automate data. But the action or the automation in itself is not the end goal. The end goal is actually that we take data, we modify it, we improve it, we increase the amount of data to actually get better data. And that data, again, it serves to help our customers. It helps our people to work better together. It helps our organization to change products and so on. But this is exactly what the Power Platform stands for. It's how do we take data, how do we let it flow within organizations to all of the employees so that we can get the best data, improve the data to actually have the best possible outcome in the end. When I talk about Power Platform, a lot of people already know Power BI. And a lot of people know Power Apps. Some people know Power Automate, and maybe some people know Power Virtual Agents. These things are what we call the front-end application part of the Power Platform. But actually the real magic happens below, in the layer below. It's again that data. How do your common data service, it's a structured database that is provided by Microsoft for customers to actually work in a structured way without them having to set everything up from scratch. How do we connect to data outside of our environment? For example, you're a retailer and you want to use data from Facebook, from LinkedIn, from Twitter, and so on. How can you connect to that data? And how do you actually put a layer of AI on top of that data? So the Power Platform is not only about the applications that we know, and I'll talk about, but it's also about what the data can do within those applications as an underlying layer. So let me dig a little bit, just easy, into what is the Power Platform and what do we know here. So first of all, I'll start with Power BI. And I think Power BI is the most known application out there. It's been around a bit longer, but it actually has the same concept. It's how can you build real-time dashboards? How can you provide self-service analysis? How can you get powerful reports through an easy click and drag interface for any user to actually get the insights from the data that they have? This is quite known to a lot of people. You can connect it to Excel, but looking at the previous picture, you can also connect it to any data source you might want, because it does use that same Dataverse or connectors to connect to the data that you need within the organization. Looking at Power Apps, again, there's so much to say about Power Apps, but this is our low-code, no-code, easily built application platform. We have examples where people with no technical skills whatsoever have created applications. But actually, when you look at model-driven apps, when you look at AI models, when you look at the connection to Dynamics 365 and to SAP or other data sources, you actually also, you can go from a no-code to a pro-code environment within the same technology. And this is what makes us quite unique. Again, making the connection to our competitors, looking at Mendix or OutSystems, they've got really good solutions, but it's a pro-code only approach, where in this approach, we really aim for citizen developers. How can we make people build their own applications or automations? And again, you want to have that strong enterprise-ready governance and security layer around it, which actually comes natively from Azure and Office 365. Power Automate, it's kind of the newest name in our portfolio. People might know it as Microsoft Flow from the past, but Microsoft Power Automate has become a lot more than what Flow used to be. So on one hand, we still have the cloud flows and the business model flows that we use, for example, in business applications. But as part of Power Automate, we also now have robotic process automation. And this is kind of the newest part. This is how can we take automation to the next level, whether it's attended or unattended. And unattended means that the automation happens without you having to interfere. Attended means because of a human or system trigger, an automation will happen in the back end. As part of the announcements that we've made around RPA for the last 2 months, RPA desktop for individual use is now free to download, which means that any Windows 10 user in the world can download RPA for himself or herself to actually do personal process automation on the desktop. And our final solution within the Power Platform that I want to highlight today is Power Virtual Agents. Again, you have a lot of data in the background. How can you, who is not a pro developer, how can you build an AI-driven bot that uses that data to actually help people? And this can be in an internal context, as in frequently asked questions, or to set up conversations between different units, but also on an external side, as part of a website. How can people self-serve through a bot to find the data or the answers that they need? When looking at the Power Platform, like I said, we've got different levels of complexity in our system. And this is what this slide is all about. When you take a small, medium, or large organization, whether you work with your own IT department through a partner or through a service provider or whoever, you will always come to the same kind of issues. That is that within an organization, you will have need for applications or automations that maybe serve 1 or 2 people, or that maybe serve one small team of 5 or 10 people. Where on the other side of the equation, you've got solutions that are needed for very heavy mission critical tasks, or that span an entire organization, like, for example, HR requests around training, onboarding, or even vacation requests, expenses, and so on. That's not for one person, that might be for everyone. But how do you manage this? What we see in medium to large organizations is that IT is usually in charge of those, and they usually focus on 20% of what is needed, usually on the right side. But it means that 80% of the applications or automations that people need are not being developed by that IT organization. When I look at the small to medium organizations, or KMO market in Belgium and the Netherlands, we see that usually a partner delivers these applications. But also there, a partner used to only focus or get money, budget, to only build those critical use cases or organization-wide use cases, because they were seen as custom development and they would cost a lot of money and a lot of time. With the Power Platform, we can actually support organizations build these solutions in weeks versus months, and we can help them build 100% of their needs versus only 20% of their needs. And this is what we see that is growing exponentially in the Microsoft environment. We see Power Platform grow at a faster speed than Azure or M365 when it was still called BPOS. So this is a solution area where a lot of customers are looking at the moment. And I have to be honest, COVID has not, well, I'm not sure I can use helped, but has actually pushed customers in looking at this, because customers needed to be more agile. They needed applications to work better from home within that same Teams environment. So let me give you a few examples of how some organizations have used the Power Platform for this. And I'll start with kind of our most known example, Heathrow, because I really like the example. In Heathrow, it's, as you might know, one of the largest airports in the world. At the security, they had a book called the Book of Languages. And within that book, they had all of the sentences and the products that people could not take on airplanes, but then translated in every language that was possible. And somebody who was a security guy who actually had to go through that book every time when people didn't speak English, he was so tired of having to take that book out. He actually, who was a security guy, he actually built a solution himself where he kind of digitized that approach. He brought it to the IT department of Heathrow, and actually they've adopted Power Platform as a low-code application platform for anybody to use within the airport to actually optimize processes, build applications, of course, with the support of IT and partners. But you can read more about the detail afterwards. When I take another example, which I really love, is Bell Food. It's a Swiss company that actually works together with Coop supermarket chain. And they needed an application to taste food. I know this sounds funny, I really like it. But they actually purchase foods and then they sell them and provide them to large supermarket chains. So when you look at the Parma hams or the Ganda hams that are in the back, they would buy some of those from different sellers. They would then cut slices of those hams, send them to different people in different countries. People would have to taste them, write down their feedback, send back the feedback, and then they would decide what Ganda ham or what ham provider would actually they be using to sell to buy the hams. What they've done is they came to Microsoft and the partner in Switzerland, and they said, look, we need a solution to digitize this, because now it's taking forever, people are slow, it's not in the same format. So they had a paper process which needed to be improved. A couple of weeks later, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks later, when Microsoft with the partner went back to the customer, the customer was so surprised that we already had a working model. It wasn't finished. It took another 3 weeks. I think it was 8 weeks in total to finish the application. But in the middle point, when they met, the application was already ready to show. And they were so surprised about the speed in which we were able to deliver this application that actually they're already using it across the organization within 2 months after that. This is one of the big benefits of having that low-code platform that is very agile and flexible, so that we can actually help customers get to solutions fast. A completely different story is Shropshire Council in the UK, and this is more in a public sector way. But they've developed an application to support the homeless, and there's a reason why I put this on the slide deck, is that not all of the applications need to be commercial. Some of them actually are designed to help people without any financial gain from it. But in Shropshire in the UK, they actually use this application to keep track of the homeless, to be able to kind of inquire with them, like, when was the last time you had food? Where do you stay at night? Do you need medication? Do you have clothing? So they actually use the application to help the homeless. And this is a really good example of applications, technology helping in a way that used to only be possible through paper process, which usually meant that data was lost, data was late, and data was never accurate. I want to conclude the examples of an example in a small customer in the Netherlands, Vanek. And Vanek is a towing company. And they do towing of damaged cars and cars that are in wrong places in the Netherlands, but they also have an international towing business where they actually tow trucks and buses back to the Netherlands when they break down in other countries in Europe. I want to specifically talk about how they use data coming from the Dutch government to actually help solve traffic jams faster. So the way that they have used data is that they go from a reactive model to a proactive business model, which means that before they were using a Power Platform, they were in their office and they were waiting for somebody to call a tow truck that said, an accident happened on the ring of Amsterdam, you need to come and tow 1 or 2 cars. What they now do is they actually use the data from the roads and traffic department of the government, and they feed it into their Power Platform applications that they have and that the drivers of those tow trucks have. And based on that data, they actually proactively go and respond to accidents happening, which means that they can clear the road quicker so that the traffic jam is resolved faster. Beyond the application for the notifications, they also use it for reporting and to look at their business and their planning across the entirety of their business. So a really good example of how a small organization uses data first to actually become more agile and to be able to become a proactive tow truck company versus a reactive tow truck company. And this was my pitch for today. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned why Microsoft is investing heavily in the Power Platform. And I hope you see that there's a lot of opportunity for you to actually do a lot of things for customers with the Power Platform. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye.